Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you? I'm...
Happy New Year. Welcome to the season premiere of The Meaning of Fandom here at And I Quote Channel. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote Channel. Boy, that's a lot of words. And we are so excited to have you here. Now, we're going to be talking about what a specific fandom or character means to myself and our panelists and why. We're also going to be taking your questions. So if you have any thoughts, any particular fandoms or characters that mean something special to you, by all means, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And don't forget to like and share this episode of The Meaning of Fandom with all of your closest friends. I'm not alone in this journey into a fandom, as it were, on this new year, season premiere edition, I should say, of the show. Please welcome our good friend and also a big fan of a little film called Die Hard, which turned 35 just last year, because he's more than welcome to come out here to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs. Give it up for Austin. Austin, it's good to have you back, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, no, we've been having fun with our little watch-alongs lately, and as you said, we're going to have many more in 2024, so stay tuned, especially because the times he likes to do these at like 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'm the only one available, so let's make it happen. So you're going to be seeing a lot of me on And I Quote. But yeah, here tonight talking about one of my favorite kind of specific fandoms that I've just gotten more and more of a fan of as I've gotten older and appreciate, and I've really loved since I was a kid. So yeah, ready to talk about it.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And also join us tonight is someone who is a best-selling indie comic book writer extraordinaire. She runs 50,000 Kickstarters a year. She's got a collection full of fluffy/plushies that would put anyone else's collection to shame. Please welcome aboard the chaos. Carissa Grant is in the building. Hello, Carissa. Welcome in. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me in here.
Yeah. Congratulations on your collection of plushies. That puts everyone to shame. So
Yeah, I have people already that they're like, I need to get in there quick to purchase them. So hopefully they'll sell pretty good. We'll see.
Spectacular. Well, this is how the show is going to work. We're going to turn things over to our panelists here, and they're going to share with us what a particular character or fandom means to them and why. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We can always ask them questions after they share their thoughts on that particular character or fandom, and we're just going to rock and roll with this thing. So with any further ado, here in this new year of 2024, Austin, you and I have had a lot of conversations about movies and other characters and all that jazz, but I'm just curious. When it comes to fandoms, is there a particular character or a particular fandom that you're really, really fond of? And if so, what is it?
Well, tonight it certainly would be Godzilla. That's what I'm talking about tonight. And the Godzilla franchise that is celebrating its 70th anniversary this year, Ryan. 70 years of Godzilla and Godzilla fandom, starting with the 1954 classic Godzilla, directed by Ishiro Honda. A great movie that still holds up today. We are being spoiled right now as Godzilla fans, as there's a lot of Godzilla fandom going around with the current release of, Godzilla -1 in theaters right now, the Toho film. We got another Godzilla versus Kong movie on the horizon. The Monarch TV show is on Apple right now. So there's a lot going on in Godzilla, and it's a very exciting time if you're a kaiju fan. But yeah, I've been a fan of this franchise ever since I was a kid, when I would start seeing the Showa era movies on television. And you'd see them a lot on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. And what I mean by the Showa era, just to give you, if you're not as familiar, there are 4 eras of Godzilla. There's the Showa era from 1954 to 1975, kind of all those classic Godzilla movies, you see with the man in the suit, and the old school, kind of, you could call them kind of corny and cheesy ones. Certainly some of them are. You have the Heisei era, which is my favorite era of Godzilla, from 1984 to 1995. And then you have the Millennium era from 2000 to 2004. And then the current Reiwa era, which is Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1 and anything they put out basically from here on out. But yeah, they used to show a lot of those Showa era movies on television. So you'd see like Godzilla versus Mothra and Godzilla's Revenge. Yeah, as you can see, kind of the ones in that top half there, the kind of old school Godzilla, where he was kind of more of a protagonist, a protector of Japan, and he'd be fighting the evil nasty Ghidorah, or fighting Megalon, or fighting Gigan, or any number of other monsters. And yeah, my first real introduction was actually the alternate cut of the original Gojira that put out. If you've ever seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, not the 2019 one, but the other one with Raymond Burr inserted, aka Perry Mason, inserted into a lot of the footage. If you've ever seen that cut of the movie that they used to show a lot on American TV, it was an American cut of the original Gojira that cut out like 50 minutes of that movie and inserted Raymond Burr into a lot of stuff kind of awkwardly, narrating a lot of the footage, and took out the darker tone of that original film and kind of made it more of just like a 50s sci-fi monster movie rather than a darker allegory of, atomic energy and the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I used to watch a lot of those movies anytime they would come on, anytime I could find them. And they were very hard to find over here in America for the longest time, realistically, until some of them started coming out on VHS and they would start showing on cable a little bit more. And so much so that when I got a little older and started going to horror conventions and sci-fi conventions, when I started realizing that there was a whole nother era with the Heisei era and the Millennium era, these other Godzilla films that had never been released over here, I had to get a hold of them via, let's just say, alternate methods you get at conventions sometimes, where people might be selling, those bootleg DVDs and whatnot. So I had to get a bunch of those until they were officially released with the Toho collection eventually on Blu-ray. These types of movies, these double DVDs and whatnot, those types of things. And yeah, so I mean, they released a whole bunch of these and finally put a whole bunch of the later era Godzilla movies out. And then the creme de la creme was when Criterion Collection put out the entire Showa era, the original era, in this set, which is a booklet, but also the movies are inside of that. So very, very cool stuff that we've actually been able to freely see all these movies over the years. It is a Meaning of Fandom, so I'm sure Ryan would appreciate showing off how far my fandom goes. I'm wearing one of my latest Godzilla shirts that I got. It's just kind of the old school 54, but I have many, many other shirts. I've got a couple of the old school sort of poster shirts. So this is Godzilla versus Gigan shirt right there. We got a original Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla kind of movie poster shirt right there. These shirts, I mean, these posters are just cool. They make for good shirts. I got the original Gojira kind of poster shirt right there. Got some more kind of cartoonish sort of ones, so a little more Americanized ones, with the way he kind of looks more of like in the American versions. And I like those movies. I just don't love them as much as the Toho movies. Again, kind of a similar one. If I can straighten it out here and not look like a dope on camera. A little bit more of that one. And then going back to kind of the Toho type stuff. This is one of my most recent ones, just a straight King Ghidorah shirt in Japanese, which is very cool. And then my two most recent ones, this is kind of more of a pretty awesome, like one from the Heisei era, again, my favorite era. And then also a very colorful Mothra shirt, because Mothra is cool and she's the defender of Earth and the guardian of peace. So in addition to that, always within my arm's reach, or my vast collection, I promise I'll make this quick. I'm not going to hog the show, I promise. Or my collection of actual Godzilla sort of action figures that are always protecting my living room. I have a dual one. The only difference between these two is the colors. The same figures. One's purple, one's blue. They've done both in different movies. Godzilla -1 has them in blue. The newest Godzilla Kong movie has them in purple. This is Godzilla versus Destroyer, where he is melting down on his inner core and glowing red and smoking. One of my favorite movies from the Heisei era. We got the two Mechagodzillas. This is the original Showa era Mechagodzilla with the spinning head. And this is the Millennium era with all the nice missiles and lasers and whatnot, and the upgrades that he would get in the Millennium series, as he should. The Godzilla Final Wars version of Gigan, which is pretty damn cool, with his saw blades and his bladed hands. Again, my favorite movie of the Heisei era, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. This is actual Destroyer. If you don't know what he looks like, he basically looks like a devil monster, which is pretty awesome. And Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from the Heisei era. One of the most unique things is they turned him at one point into Mecha Ghidorah, where he had a mechanical head and mechanical wings. And then, of course, we can't forget about the oh-so classic Jet Jaguar from Godzilla vs. Megalon. complete with his theme song, Jet Jaga, Saska, Jet Jaga. Come on, sing it with me, folks. You guys don't know this? All right, anyways. But yeah, that's kind of a little assortment of collection things that I like to show off for my Godzilla fandom. Yeah, it's a series that's really meant a lot to me over the years, and as I've grown older, obviously really appreciating kind of the themes they hit on throughout all the different eras series. And then yeah, that's most of my fandom and kind of what it means to me. And as you can see, I'm a big fan. But I was going to do one special thing for you, Ryan, or for anybody watching. I will give you a quick beginner's guide to Godzilla. If you want to jump in, I will give you 6 movies to start with, because there are 33 Toho movies, there are 4 American films, and then there's the Roland Emmerich one. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that movie. But if you're interested in getting into Godzilla, I will give you the 6 to start with to kind of give you the best overview of the different eras and whatnot. Start with the original 1954 Gojira, obviously. The original movie that kind of started it all, still holds up very well. You next go to Godzilla versus Mothra from the Showa era, just because I think it has the classic first real, like, just monster versus monster, with Godzilla still as an antagonist, Mothra as a protagonist. I think you jump then into Godzilla 1985, which was also called The Return of Godzilla, the start of the Heisei era, a little bit more of a darker tone and a return to form for Godzilla. I go with Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, because you get the best version of King Ghidorah, and you get that awesome Mecha Ghidorah, and you just get some really great special effects, really great cosmic monster action. Best of the Millennium era, in my opinion, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. That's a real title of that movie from 2003. But it features all the great monsters. Again, fantastic special effects. And I would throw in the one currently in theaters, Godzilla -1 is also one of the best Godzilla movies out there, and a great starting point as well, because it takes place during post World War II in that era, so it's a great kind of place to start as well. So I know I was long-winded. I'm sorry. I'm just throwing it all out there, but that's kind of a little beginner's guide to Godzilla and what it means to me.
Well, there's a few things I want to say to that.
Sure.
Yes! That's awesome!
I mean, that's one. That's
Right.
one. And Austin, to be quite frank with you, I don't know how Carissa feels about this, because I don't want to speak for everybody on this panel. But what you've just said is one of the most insanely obsessive compulsive collectors
Right.
disorders I've ever heard.
Yes.
Everyone in this room, in this studio, is now smarter for having listened to it. And I award you 10 points, and I look forward to going back and witnessing the history of this character known as Godzilla, excuse me. Sorry, I must have sneezed there. But I have heard nothing but great things about Godzilla -1. People are raving about it. They're saying it's like the second coming. They're saying it's one of the best things in sliced bread. So it's on my list of billion movies I need to watch before I die, which I'm probably not going to finish, but I will do my best to do so. So my familiarity with the character is, yes, I grew up in the 90s, so I'm going to have to say it. I'm sorry. Roland Emmerich's movie, I grew up on it.
We don't talk about, as Godzilla fans, we don't talk about that movie.
I know we don't.
No.
I know it's not canon. It's not part of the mythology. I get it. But I grew up on it, and the soundtrack is pretty good too. And yeah, the music video is cool too. If you want to go back to the 90s and revisit
Pete Diddy and Jimmy Page Cashmere remix,
small era of time there. Just a little.
Here's a fun fact about that version of Godzilla, though, which is he is referred to in Toho canon as Zilla, because they ended up, after that movie, it made money, but it failed critically, and there was a big backlash against it. Toho rebought the rights to that specific design of character, and in Godzilla Final Wars, the 2004 film, the conclusion of the Millennium Era, Godzilla is going around basically fighting all the monsters basically that he's ever fought. He faces off against that version of Godzilla that they call Zilla in Sydney, and quickly dispatches of him in about 10 seconds. It's amazing. So you can find that clip online. If anything, just look up Godzilla dispatches Roland Emmerich Godzilla, and you can find it. It's pretty great.
Once again, I'm going to have to sit down and do some research on this and probably watch this. But yeah, I grew up on that movie, and then I watched the newer stuff with Godzilla 2014 from Gareth Edwards. I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I think is one of the best destructive monster movies ever made. Kong Skull Island, I think, is great, even though that's not Godzilla per se. It's not. I mean, it's part of that
Kong Skull Island is my favorite of this current MonsterVerse out of the
mean,
movies. It's my favorite movie out of those. Oddly enough, it's not the Godzilla movie. Kong Skull Island rules. That movie's
great.
awesome.
It's a great movie. I think it's a great movie. And then Godzilla vs. Kong came out, and that didn't do much for me. But who knows? Maybe they'll redeem themselves with Godzilla. Is it Godzilla and Kong?
X-Kong, the New Empire, whatever that means. Yes.
Whatever the heck that means.
It's more of an exploration of this Hollow Earth thing they've got going on, which I'm also not interested in, like, at all. Like, I don't like where this series is going.
I don't know what they're doing.
Let's just say, out of the 2 Godzilla movies that will be released within a 6-month period, I'm pretty confident in my prediction that Godzilla -1 will trample that in terms of quality, as it's making, people who aren't Godzilla fans are proclaiming it as one of the best of the year. I absolutely agree with that. It's not just a great Godzilla movie. It's just a great movie, period. There are excellent characters, excellent story, excellent set pieces. So I would encourage you, if there's still a theater out there showing it and you have not seen it, please see it in a theater. I think it's well worth it. And like I said, you don't have to know a lot about Godzilla to appreciate the movie, because it's just a good movie that happens to have Godzilla kicking ass in it. So there you go.
Well, I guess we know what Carissa and I are going to be doing early this week. So with that being said, I'm just curious though, Carissa, for someone who spends their times with monsters and demons and ancient gods and craziness that happens in the netherworld or the underworlds, are you familiar with Godzilla? And if so, what are your thoughts on Austin's feelings towards the giant king of the monsters? And by the way, long live the king. What do you think, Carissa?
So 3rd row down, 3 over is the one that I know the best. So I don't know what year that is. But because I used to watch anime, so anime, was all lumped in with Godzilla. So I watched, most of the guy in the suit, jumping over these model buildings and stuff. I did watch the new one, not the newest one, but the somewhat new ones. I did grow up with the one you're talking about from the 90s. It's my husband loves it. It's obviously not Godzilla. It's some lizard that got loose, but I mean, how could you not love Godzilla? So as for his fandom, I mean, if you're gonna like something, go all out, man. You're talking to the queen of obsession.
Oh, sure. No, and everybody is a nerd about something, or geeky about something, or multiple things, obviously, as I can tell from your background as well, multiple things. I could obviously go on and on about, Star Wars or Batman or, Power Rangers, as we've talked about on the channel, Ryan.
Yeah,
baby.
but
hey, I'll tell you what, the Power Rangers thing is a great tie-in, because obviously that came from Japanese, Super Sentai. There's a lot of Godzilla. There's a lot of Godzilla influence in there, with guys in suits fighting, robots and monsters and stuff fighting. And it only added to my fandom, because I appreciate all that stuff. The Dragon Zord is obviously kind of an amalgamation of Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, brought together. So yeah, all that stuff is definitely tied in together, and you can see the influences obviously in the way they do those, for sure.
Yeah. Plus, the soundtrack isn't too much to sneeze at either in that show. My gosh, did Ron Wasserman kill it? And we've interviewed him on this show. We've interviewed him on And I Quote. You can always go back and watch that. Or you can check out the Power Ranger Nerds playlist on our YouTube channel, known as And I Quote channel. For those of you wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on around here, this is the Meaning of Fandom, where we're talking about a particular character or a fandom that means something special to our panelists, as well as myself and why. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, if you have a fandom or a character that means something special to you, by all means, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat, and don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. Brandon Starachi says, hello, all. Brandon, we know him. Yeah, Carissa and I know who that is. Brandon, we hope everything's going well for you, sir, over there with your crew and the stories you're telling and all that good jazz. We wish you all the best in 2024 for sure. But once again, don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends, Brandon. I'm looking at you. With not to single you out, Brandon, but you're the first person to comment on this episode thus far. There's plenty of time left for everyone else. So wow, Gordon up. there's a long history there, man. That's a long
70 years of history. I mean, literally, it is the 70th anniversary this year.
It is. Are they going to have a special commemorative T-shirt for that?
Well, I hope so, but no. I mean, again, it has the current Guinness World Record for longest continuous franchise.
Wow.
At 70 years running, longer than Bond.
Longer than Bond, which is
longer
insane.
than as far as movie wise, the longest
longer than Doctor Who.
Yeah, longest continuous, movie franchise. It holds the record. Like I said, 33 movies later, as far as Japanese movies later, several American, versions here and there. I mean, it's going strong 7 years later, even in his old age. He's still kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, he hasn't really aged today, has he? He's only getting bigger, faster, and stronger, like the song says. Bigger, faster, stronger. Sorry, that's a song from the interwebs that I heard one day.
Yeah.
But with that being said, get out of here. By the way, Brandon says, same goes for all of you here. He wishes us the best, and I got you. I'm going to share this out. Thank you, Brandon. You're the man. Thanks, Brandon. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods. So without any further ado, Carissa, I'm just curious, dare I ask, aside from your obsessive compulsive collection of "It's a Fluffy" in the background there, do you have a fandom or a character that means something special to you? And if so, what would it be?
It's very hard to pick between the two of them because Resident Evil 2 started everything. Wow. So there's that fandom. However, I mean, I literally bought PlayStation just to play it. I didn't even have the system. I'd gone from Atari to Duck Hunt to Resident Evil 2. However, I have to go with Supernatural because I have been obsessed with that show since I think the end of season 2. And I had stumbled upon one episode with ghosts and I thought it looked stupid. And then a couple months later, I saw the car and I was like, well, now I got to watch it. So, they have the classic Impala and I started watching it. I've been watching it, nonstop. It's what my series is pretty much based on or inspired by, the demons and angels and Sam and Dean. I've been to Supernatural conventions. I've had dinner with some of them. I've danced with some of them. I've been on a cruise with one of them. Been backstage, been stepped on by one of them. That'd be Jared. And so I actually, the very, 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 very first thing I did at my very, very, very first Supernatural con, I've done other cons like, anime and otakus and all that stuff. However, the first one I went to them, I did a dual picture and Jared stepped on me and Jensen caught me. So I did not hate it, but at that point in time, I was not thrilled. I was terrified to touch either one of them. So I was like, you could see my picture. I look like a T-Rex. My arms are like right in front of me. And then 3 months later, when I had backstage passes, Sam comes out and says, aren't you the one I stepped on? And I'm going, yes, I am. So that's always good. And I just went to a convention December 8th in Nashville, and Jared signed my book on the Supernatural homage page, which I can't show you the autograph because it is upstairs safe and sound. But I can show you what he signed. So the funny thing about this is it's an homage cover. In the original poster, Dean is in this hot guy's Draven's position and Jared is in the girl's position. However, at the convention, he signed it and he was so excited because he thought he was a jacked up one that I could not tell him otherwise. And so he signed the wrong one. But he kept saying he can't wait to tell his wife how jacked he is. And he was thrilled. And the best part is he actually took a copy. And he asked me 3 times, is it okay if he really takes it? And of course, I wanted him to have it. So he took that. And I now have no idea if he ever read it, but I can pretend he did. Just like James O'Barr took an issue 1 when he was signing. So I was thrilled about that. I haven't had Jensen sign it yet. Next December, I have tickets to go see him. So he could sign 1 or 2. But I'll probably have book 2 by then. But yeah, my story is based around it. We've got the angels and the demons. We have angelic weapons and whatever. And we've got the demon and the angel main characters. And as for Supernatural, I think it's going to be 20 years old next year. So it's not quite Godzilla level.
But, it's nothing to sneeze at. A show that went, like 15 seasons?
15 years.
I mean, that's...
But they're working on a 16.
Wow,
So
really?
But I mean, 300 plus episodes.
at
That's
the
insane.
convention, now Jensen's been wanting to continue this forever. Jared in the very beginning said, "I do not want to do more than 5 seasons," and 5 seasons were actually what were
The
written.
creator.
Yeah, Eric Kripke said
He had a
5
5-year
seasons,
plan.
that's it. And
Yep.
once 5 years was up, he refused to write anymore. So, but they
Refused
still
to come
continued.
back.
Yeah. So I love the show. I actually had just gotten my husband into it. So now he has like a man crush on Jensen, so we're all good. But yeah, he likes the show. He goes, he loves Jared. Like he gets all he took my husband plays the drums, and he brought a drum head for him to sign. And he kept getting nervous with Jared talking to him, and he kept trying to walk away because he felt like he's holding up the line. And Jared is amazing. We were 5 hours over the line because we had a tornado scare and we were all trapped in the downstairs in the basement, this giant hotel. So we were 5 hours behind, and we thought I kept saying, "Oh, this is gonna suck." I paid hundreds of dollars to see Jared, and we're gonna rush right through it. No, he had all the energy in the world, and he talked to each one of us. He asked about the book, he asked about whatever. And when he was signing my husband's the drumhead, he said, "Oh, I would love to see, watch one of your videos." And he's just being nice, I'm sure. And my husband points to me and goes, "She has them all." Like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with this? But it was very nice to talk to him and all that stuff. And if you ever go to a convention, for anyone that hasn't, they're like the most down to earth people ever. I mean, they're super nice, super funny. I've been to a Vampire Diaries. I'm not really into Vampire Diaries, but I went to one of them, and it's not the same. They're like, I don't know, it didn't have that same camaraderie to it. The supernatural fandom, man. I mean, you can go in there not knowing anything and say, "I'm all by myself. Somebody please come, show me around," and they'll just come show you around. They're all amazing that way. They just hang around each other. So yeah, so I definitely have a huge love for the series. I'm looking forward to season 16. Slightly scared of season 16. I mean, I like the way it ended. Some people weren't. I was like, how do you want it to end? It's 15 seasons. But yeah, Jared quit because he didn't, he thought he was on the show too long. Jensen never wanted to quit. He wanted to be on it. Every convention for the last, it's been over for 4 years. He says, "We're going to come back. I'm going to be Jensen. I'm going to be Dean again. I don't know when I'm going to be Dean again." And at the con, he said they want a season 16, but it might be a reboot. So I don't know what it's going to be. If they're not Sam and Dean, there's no point in watching it. That's why the Winchesters failed. Sorry, they failed. But I didn't even watch it. I had no interest in it. I did watch the very ending because Bobby was on it, and I love Bobby. So, and I met Bobby too. And I don't know if anyone realizes this, but Bobby is extremely tall. I am 5'1", and I was just under his nipples. Like I was taking a picture with him, and I was like, "You're so freaking tall." He's like, "Not next to those two freaking ogres," and they're both over 6 feet. So yeah, it's interesting. But I mean, when you hang out with them and you talk to them and meet and greets with them, it's amazing to have that kind of just acting normal, like they're just when they have karaoke. Jensen and Dean don't really do that, but everyone else has karaoke. You can sing with them on stage and everything. So and if anyone that watches this show, they know that the half joke is that they die over and over and over again and come back over and over and over again. We don't have that as much in our story. Though I will say a lot of cliffhangers are her looking like she's going to die. She doesn't, but you're looking like she's going to die. So we do have that little homage to them that we think they're going to die every other page. But yeah, other than that, I can watch I used to watch the entire series over every single year it restarts. So I've not seen it 15 times, but I have restarted it plenty of times. I don't approve of what happened to Bobby. So I kind of stopped watching and then started like years later because I did not appreciate it. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, man, a lot of interactions with the boys there. That's I mean, Jensen at one point before Supernatural came on the air, he was on my show. He was on Smallville in season 4. He was one of the lead characters. They put him on as a series regular. He played Jason Teague, son to Genevieve Teague, played by Jane Seymour, of all people. And that was a heck of a season. I just finished rewatching season 4 of Smallville, and hey, you know, what do they do when Jensen finds out he's going to be a lead on a new TV series on the WB next year? They kill him off at the end of season 4.
Right? It was like
he got hit in the meteor shower. That's right.
I will tell you, at the Supernatural convention, Tom Welling was there.
Yeah,
and so was Michael Rosenbaum, and they both took one of my copies of the hardcover, and they both signed my hardcover. Tom Welling, who this is going to sound horrible. Obviously, he's a good-looking guy. I have never thought of him as attractive. I mean, I'm sure he's attractive, but he was joking around. He winked at me because the person in front of me, he asked them, "Did you want a topless or shirtless pic?" And then he winked at me, and I was like, "Well, that's an option, obviously." But super nice, very down to earth. He was walking around. He was at the bar. Michael Rosenbaum was awesome too. However, we were 40 minutes late waiting for him. He was 40 minutes late, and then he comes in and he's shopping on the way. So we're watching him look at clothes while we're waiting for him for 40 minutes. But you can't stay mad at him because he's super nice guy. So
it's Lex Luthor. So
yeah. Yet still amazingly nice. He's actually going to be at the con that I'm going to in. Which one is it? Nashville. Yeah, Nashville. Yeah. He's going to be in Nashville. He's going to be Buffy's another fandom I love. Spike James is going to be in Lexington, Kentucky. So I have booked a hotel to go have him sign mine. Let me tell you something, though. I've done a cameo with him, and he is crazy. He's crazy. I don't know how much of it is real and how much is it just him acting crazy. But I bought one for me and I bought one for my husband. And he went off on this tangent on a party with David. It was just the weirdest thing to have this guy just talking about this. I don't have no idea what he was saying or what he was doing. But he actually guest starred on Supernatural too. So
he's been everywhere.
He has been everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, James Martin. I'm rewatching season 5 of Smallville right now, and he plays Professor Milton Fine, also known as Brainiac in Smallville.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
all of Smallville, but I do not remember that.
Yep, he was in season 5. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna have him sign my hardcovers now.
Please do. Make sure you take plenty of video and pictures of that.
Yeah, I don't know if they let you take pictures when they sign your book, unfortunately. Well, it might be different. I've never been to.
You can always ask.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I always had. So I always joked about if I ever get an animated series, you had to have guest starred on Supernatural once to do the voice of the main character. But now that I know, I've remembered he is on it now. He can do the voice. But ironically enough, the main character of Mind Raven is not reserved for Jensen. It is reserved for probably the actor that I'll never get to meet, but it's Christian Kane from Angel. I played Lindsay. He's from Leverage. I wouldn't say no to Jensen doing the voice. And if I ever got popular and he watches this, he'd be like, "Well, I wasn't your first choice, so forget it." But my first choice was Christian Kane because it was based around his a demonized version of his character in Leverage. That's what my main character is.
Yeah. I watched Leverage when it was on.
Yeah, he was Elliot, as you know.
Elliot, that's right. He was the hitter. Yeah.
He was the hitter, and my character is a demon descendant assassin. So he's based on him. And when we role played, my co-writer used Christian Kane's picture. So to us, it was always Christian Kane. So I had Alana Tao, Joe from Supernatural, but she doesn't seem to attend any conventions anymore. So I'll never get to meet her.
That's unfortunate. Wow.
Yes, it is.
Wow, that's, man, goodness gracious. A lot of history with Supernatural. Yeah, 15 years. Should have stopped at 5. But, hey, show was popular. The network was making money hand over fist, and Jared and Jensen were enjoying themselves up to a point. So, hey, keep the show going until they just die. Who knows? Well, the characters die anyway, not the actors, but
then they did.
Yeah, they've died numerous times, and it's ironic because very long time ago, before Supernatural was on the air, there was this little show on ABC Family when ABC Family had a brain, and it was called Wildfire. And Genevieve Cortez was the lead actress on that show. All 4 I think it was 4 or 5 seasons that it ran. I can't remember the exact number. I apologize, internet. But Genevieve Cortez, years later, ended up as a guest star on Supernatural, and that's how Jared and Genevieve met and fell in love. And they got hitched, and now they got kids. So Congratulations, Jared and Genevieve. Sam marries Christopher Willow from Wildfire. Who'd have thunk?
Yeah. I knew Jensen in Dark Angel, so
yeah.
Which I'm still mad about because I didn't know who he was, but I thought he was adorable, and she was so mean to him, and he would save her life over and over and over again. She was still such a bitch to him. Like, why? Why was she so mean to him? So
tell us how you really feel.
Of Dark Angel. So
no, it's all good. It's all good. My goodness gracious, that's a lot of information to take in. But just out of curiosity, though, Austin, you haven't seen anything remotely resembling the Supernatural TV series, so clearly you got a little bit of homework to do. Not a whole lot, because you don't have to watch all 15,000 seasons.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to binge 15 seasons of Supernatural in the 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not expecting you
to. A full 15 minutes.
Yeah, I tried, but I didn't.
I wasn't expecting you to. But what are your thoughts on what Carissa shared with us in terms of her love of something known?
No, I mean, I know there are Supernatural conventions. I've been to other Comic Cons where the some of the people
headliners.
Where Jared and Jensen have been there, and they always have like lines around the corner. I mean, it's ridiculous. I know the fandom is they have their own mythology and fandom. It's something. I'm well aware of the fandom, well aware of the show. I'm more familiar with Jensen and Jared's work outside of Supernatural personally because they both ventured into horror remakes.
Friday the 13th.
Jared was in Friday the 13th and House of Wax, and Jensen was in the Mighty Bloody Valentine.
I forgot about House of Wax. He dies in that.
Right.
The funny thing is, if you watch the remake Friday the 13th, they actually did. They each did that at the same time. Like they must have had time off. They both went to do it. But his is really just Supernatural, but a girl in Dean's place because he's looking for a sister.
Oh yeah, no, he's looking for a sister the whole time. That's all it is.
The girl is the same. I forget the actress's name. I apologize, but the actress who plays his sister that he's looking for is the same person who plays Grace Van Pelt on a hit television series from a couple years back called The Mentalist. So
I used to watch that.
Yes, she was the redhead. She was the agent that was dating one of the other agents. So it's like, oh, this is crazy, man. Like she did this before she was on Mentalist. That's great. Like, but hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. That's how Hollywood.
I was just say there's one other father-son connection between Jensen Ackles and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. You probably know where I'm going with this, but Jensen Ackles has been recently voicing Batman in a lot of the DC animated films. He's kind of been the new go-to guy. And then Jeffrey Dean Morgan was Thomas Wayne in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So there is a theoretical sort of father and son connection, even in another fandom. And then they've also both been on The Boys.
Jensen actually voiced, apparently, I don't know where, he just said he did the voice of Batman or he was signed up to do the voice of Batman.
Yeah.
But I do like the little nod to it. If you watch, obviously, the Walking Dead, there was a joke where they had the bat, Lucille, on Supernatural. And it's actually an Easter egg in my season, in my issue 5. But he had the bat. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan tweeted, he goes, son, you already stole my car. I'm going to need that back. Right. But they were holding it on the show. And he's like, I think Dad would have really liked this as I throw it, but. Yeah.
No, Jensen's done Batman and The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2. And Legion of Super. Right? No, he played Red Hood in Batman Under the Red Hood,
which is a great movie.
That one was like back in like 2010. But recently, Justice League War World. Recently, he did Batman as well. So he's been one of the off and on like Batman voices.
He's been busy
the last couple of years. Yeah, but he's a busy guy. Yeah,
they're all busy. I mean, he's keeping himself. Was it Jensen's been busy? Jared, I know, is doing Walker. He's doing Walker right now. Mm-hmm. I think they renewed it for another season, which I don't understand why you would do that because that show is terrible.
I was really surprised. I have not watched it, but there's no fighting from him. So
it's not a really good show, to be honest. Like, look, I like Jared as much as the next. I have a lot of respect for Jared, right? But I also like Lindsay Morgan's in it, and she played Raven on CW's The 100 a couple years back.
I remember that.
So the fact that they're partners in this show and there's hardly any fighting, they're just arresting people with handcuffs. I'm like, come on, guys. Like you guys have been.
I was going to say, I'm only big. Is this legitimately like a reboot of Walker Texas Ranger?
Yeah, that's literally what it is. It's called Walker instead of Walker.
But there's no fighting like Chuck Norris.
There's barely any fighting in the show.
No. Weird. Okay.
Yeah, how can you do a show with no fighting? That's just remotely silly to me. I don't know. Yeah. Jared, are you watching this? Because if you are, you got to do more action sequences, bro. I know you're getting long in the tooth because you're getting older, but still, Like, you're not that old, Jared.
You got to throw a high kick every now and then. It's Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, but
Come on,
Jared,
actually, the funny part is he kicked really high when we were waiting for a photo, and he almost kicked this poor girl in the face.
Oh, seriously?
He does have a high kick, so I don't know what to tell you.
Did you really pull one of those? Oh gosh.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, my husband thought it was hysterical.
Nice work, Jared. I don't know. If I ever see Jared and Jensen, obviously I'll ask him 1 or 2 questions about Supernatural just out of curiosity's sake. And then I'll bring up to Jensen, hey, dude, rewatched you on Smallville. Good stuff. What was it like working with Jane Seymour as your mother? Because Jane Seymour has been in the business for decades and decades and decades and decades. So, you know, what was it like working with John Glover? What was it like working with Roosevelt? You know, all those guys. Like, it's a heck of a. They're all like, you know, it's like a brotherhood, honestly. And it's ironic that you bring this up, though, Carissa, because in a few weeks I'm going to be rubbing elbows with Tom and Michael and John Glover. John Schneider are going to be at a convention not too far from me. So I'm going to meet my favorite cast from my favorite show of all time, known as Smallville, in a matter of weeks. So excellent! Can't wait for you to have them sign.
I'm going to meet. I don't know if you know my favorite horror movie of all time.
What is it?
For it. Well, it's Nightmare on Elm Street 3 because that was the first
Dream
movie.
Warriors, yay!
It's the first movie I ever saw when I was 6, and I fell in love with it. So he's going to be in Atlanta next month, and I'm going to get his autograph too. So
nice.
I am thrilled to get that. So while my husband is going to get Jared's signature again, I am going to get Robert Englund's.
Well, I might go to that one you're going to, Ryan. We might actually meet for the first time, potentially, if I can get there maybe on Sunday is when I'm thinking I might be able to get there. I can't really do Saturday, that Mad Monster Party thing. Or
yeah, dude, if you show up,
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, dude, if you show up and we hang out and we're partying it up with the Smallville cast, dude, that's gonna be lit.
Well, I was gonna say John Glover is a great character. One of my favorite movies of all time, Gremlins 2: The New Batch.
I love Gremlins 2. I don't know why people don't like it.
Clamp is an amazing character, and he's awesome in that movie.
I've never seen Gremlins 2. I've only seen the first one.
Dude, he's so good in Gremlins 2.
But I loved it. I mean, I saw the original. When was it in theater?
Gremlins actually turns 40 this year. It came out in 84.
Well, 84 was the original. 1990 was the
sequel.
So
I saw it in the theater, and I was 6. Well, I've seen a lot when I was 6, so I was in the theater watching.
You've seen a lot of horror movies when you were 6.
Yeah, my dad didn't care.
Dude, your parents didn't really shelter you as a child, did they?
No, I watched. I don't know if you guys know Watership Down, where they rip apart the rabbits. So I
watched that like 2 months ago. Yeah, that's a
I watched
movie.
it several times. The Last Unicorn I watched several times, but I also read Watership Down, which is identical to the movie, except for there's a longer part that they took out of the movie. Other than that, it's identical to the movie. So kudos to the movie for destroying rabbits everywhere.
Boy, this is getting really creepy. So what I do want to say, by the way, Austin, if you are able to come to that show next month, dude, that's
is that the one you're going to? Atlanta?
It's what is it called?
Mad Monster Party is in
Monster
Concord.
Party is in Concord, North Carolina.
And it's a fairly new one. It's about 2 years old. I went to the first one that was like 2 years ago, the very first one.
Kind of fresh.
Yeah, it's a pretty fresh one. I don't know.
They got a great guest list.
I think I can go there on the Sunday. I think that's my
if you and I go Sunday, dude, we're gonna light it up.
Yeah, because I always have Sundays off from work, so I think
Same here.
It's about 2 hours. I could jet over there in the morning.
And maybe Carissa can join us. We can have a giant big party.
I think that's only 4 hours from me.
Is it? Is Concord, North Carolina? Is that what it's called?
It's called Mad Monster Party. Look at Mad Monster Party.
It's a horror
Concord.
convention that's got Carissa's name written all over it.
Mad Monster Party. There it is.
It's called Mad, but it has one in Concord, North Carolina, which is more specific.
Yes.
There's puppets.
Are there puppets there? Yeah, probably.
There's puppets on the poster. Okay, let's see.
Maybe you can find a vendor that sells plushies that you can add.
Are the Lost Boys there?
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips is going to be there. You got I think is it Jason Patrick? No.
CJ Graham is there.
CJ Graham and Kane Hodder have been there every year.
Kane Hodder.
Dude.
Was Kane Hodder in Jason X or no?
Jason X, yes, but he was not in Freddy vs. Jason.
No. But he was in Jason X, right?
Yes, he was in
Okay,
Jason
just
X.
making sure he was in the one film I was thinking of, not in the other
Yes.
one. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to confuse you. But by the way, I hope I'm not confusing the person who's watching or listening to this, because for those of you wondering, why are these people talking about scary things? Well, we're doing that because it's called the Meaning of Fandom, where we're talking about specific fandoms and or characters that mean something special to our panelists or myself, and why. If you have any thoughts about this, if you have any questions about some of the some of the fandoms that we've mentioned thus far, whether it's godzilla or it's a supernatural, carry on my wayward son, all that stuff, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this episode of the Meaning of Fandom from And I Quote channel with all of your closest friends. We would greatly appreciate the support, because we are this close, ladies and gentlemen, to hitting 1,000 subscribers, because that is going to be one big live stream party. Once we do, we're going to throw a great big live stream. We're going to have returning favorites, such as Austin's more than happy to come back. Carissa could come back and talk about her obsessive compulsive disorder with plushies and Resident Evil. So listen, we'll talk about that and then some. Who the heck knows? But I guess it's my turn then, right? I guess it's my turn. So here's the thing. I've talked about a lot of fandoms so far in our installments of this series known as The Meaning of Fandom, which, by the way, we do have a separate playlist if you want to go back and watch the previous episodes. You can find those on our YouTube channel. Once again, links are located in the description below, or you can just go to the homepage and look at playlists and all that kind of jazz. But if you have any questions about it, please let us know. So for me, I want to lighten things up around here, because we've gone in some very deep, dark rabbit holes that are probably going to give me nightmares, that are going to make me not want to fall asleep tonight. Thanks, Nightmare on Elm Street. So, and certain episodes of Supernatural, those scare the living heck out of me. Thanks, guys. But with
well, it depends on which Godzilla you watch that gives you nightmares, not, or just make you chuckle at how silly it is.
Probably Godzilla '98 would make me laugh now.
Yeah.
Because I'm an older person.
Go watch Godzilla's Revenge, aka Son of Godzilla, and you will have no nightmares whatsoever.
Really? Is that how it goes?
Oh, there's just some really goofy ones. Yeah, some really silly stuff in there. Yeah.
Thanks for telling me. So with that being said, outside of the kaiju and the horror universe that Carissa likes to live in 24/7, which scares me, even though we're still friends. So there you go. That must say something about our relationship. For me. Yeah, obviously. So for me, I'm going to bring up an action movie franchise that's based off a television series that was on many eons ago, but someone by the name of TC Legend, aka Tom Cruise, brought it to the forefront. Take a look at this. So I'm going to talk about Mission Impossible, the movie franchise. Now, granted, there's a little bit of a caveat to this, because I have not seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 yet, so I can't comment on the 7th installment of this franchise. But what I can tell you is that when this baby started in '96, the movie came out, did really well. Obviously, there's been a lot of times in between the installments. So, Tom Cruise was working on other projects. He wanted to do other things. But then he would always come back and revisit the character of Ethan Hunt, which is known in the Mission Impossible franchise. So basic premise is simple. Ethan Hunt is an agent who works for the Impossible Mission Force. He gathers a team together, and they do their best to accomplish what a lot of people would consider to be impossible missions. And they've been doing this for 7 movies now. The 8th one is scheduled to come out relatively soon. I think it's 2025, 2026.
Yeah, next year it'll be out, yeah.
Yeah, they pushed it because of all the delays and stuff like that, because of the strikes. So, but hey, the strikes are over. So congratulations. Everyone got what they want, I hope. And we're going to move forward and live gloriously, happily ever after. Thanks, Hollywood. So with that being said, I watch this franchise. I've done this a lot in movies, where I watch movies out of order. So when it comes to Mission Impossible, I think the first one that I remember seeing, the first one of this franchise, I remember seeing Mission Impossible 3 specifically. I may have seen it in the theater, or I may have waited for it to come out on DVD. I can't remember if it was an in-theater experience or outside of the theater experience. I apologize. But after I saw Mission Impossible 3, I thought, ooh, this is interesting. We got something here. What's next? And then the 4th one came out, and that was directed by Brad Bird. And then you had the scene at Burj Khalifa Tower. He's hanging off that thing. He's doing the stunts. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy is out of his mind of doing.
He signed a waiver for that,
Yeah, he had to sign waivers. He had to sign forms.
That's why he started producing the entire franchise himself, so he could get around the insurance issues and start just insuring himself, basically. Essentially, he had to skirt around it. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up. So, which, hey, it's a fun fact, so it's relevant. So, Mission Impossible 4 I thought was even better than the 3rd one, and then they just kept coming, and each installment just attempted to one up the one before it. And for the most part, it succeeded. So from the 6 movies that I've seen thus far, I've enjoyed every single one of them for a different set of reasons. And I like this franchise because it's fun. It's insane. The stunts that they're doing in these movies are absolutely bananas. Tom Cruise is out of his mind. He's pushing 60-something, 65 years old. He's still doing his own stunts. He's a nut job. He shouldn't be doing it. People keep telling him to stop before he hurts himself or hurts somebody else. But he keeps doing it because he loves his craft and he wants to entertain the audience, and he wants to assure people that when they go to the theater, it's him doing it and not somebody else. He wants to make it as real as possible. That is his thing. That is his mission. That is his mission, pun intended.
I'm pretty sure he sold his soul for looking the way he does, but whatever works.
He probably did. He probably drank a lot of tiger blood at the office one day. So, I mean, granted, this picture's a few years old as we're seeing on screen here, because this is the Blu-ray DVD set of the first 6 movies within this franchise, which includes 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one's called Ghost Protocol. 5th one is Rogue Nation. And then Mission Impossible 6 is also called Mission Impossible Fallout. So
another one of my favorites is in that movies. Simon Pegg, who I love since Space.
He's been in 3 through 7. Yeah.
Yes.
I got his signature in New York City.
Of course you did, because you've met everybody. You got everybody's cell phone number. You got everybody's email address.
So, he played Resident Evil 2 on Space. And I instantly, that was, he was playing the video game. That's actually how Shaun of the Dead got started. Him playing that scene.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So while he was playing that, and I've never written to any actor ever in my entire life, not even when I was a teenager, but I wrote to him and I sent him one of the Leon foil cards, because I had an extra for my trading cards. And he sent me, first I got a generic signed photograph of everybody. It doesn't say anything, nothing, doesn't have my name on it, just generic. However, 2 weeks after that, I got a personal one from him that's framed right there. It says, "Get right on you." And it says, "To Carissa." And he wrote a letter to me, and I guess they must have given him the card like later on. So when I was in New York City, like, I don't know, it must have been like 10 years later, I said, "You're not going to remember this, but I sent you something long time ago." And he goes, "Was it a Leon card?" I go, "Yeah."
He remembers you.
He remembered it. Yeah. That's how memorable I am.
Yeah, to every single actor and actress that you've met in your Comic-Con career, everybody remembers Carissa Grant from Worthy Chaos Comics, because that's how memorable she just is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for me, I think this franchise is fun to watch. I think the stunts are amazing. I think the stories in most of them are pretty darn well constructed and well executed. You can make an argument, obviously some installments of the franchise stand out more so than others, but listen, I like out of the 7, I haven't seen 7 yet, I apologize. But of the 6 that I've seen, I enjoy all of them. I mean, I went back and did a rewatch of these not too long ago, and I realized, wow, Mission Impossible 1's pretty good, but I actually really started to like Mission Impossible 2 a little bit more so after watching a couple more times. And then obviously Mission Impossible 3, to me, is my favorite because the villain, Philip Seymour Hoffman, is absolutely brilliant as the villain. And by the way, rest in peace to the young Philip Seymour Hoffman, gone way too soon. Way too soon. Great actor, great talent, a lot of stuff he brought to the table. His performance as Owen Davian in Mission Impossible 3, if you have not seen Mission Impossible 3, you need to sit your
That is one that I've always championed as one of the best ones in the series as well. That movie's great.
That movie's freaking amazing. And it doesn't
that one. I remember Ghost Protocol. That's the only one I remember.
All right, well, this one is called Mission Impossible 3 with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
So I do have a fun fact for you about Simon Pegg, in that he joked and said long before the odds of me going to the States to do a movie are pretty slim, and I would never go for like a Mission Impossible movie. And then he was in 2. So the joke was they only brought him there because he said he wouldn't. And now he's been in like all of them.
Now he's been in almost all of them. Yeah, he's been in 3 through 7 thus far, if I'm not mistaken. So
number 3, he's not a field agent yet. He's just the guy in the chair. He's the guy in the chair for
like
the
a
whole
forensic
movie.
Scientist or something.
Yeah, no, but and that's also the random one. If people remember that Lawrence Fishburne was in, and then he just like disappeared from the series. I kind of wish they would bring him back.
Dude, he was great.
I'm hoping
Jeremy
that
Renner was in it too, but he had to leave.
that's what I mean. I'm hoping this final one will at least kind of maybe have some cameos from some of the previous people that have kind of bounced around the series, like Renner, like Fishburne. Some of the people that have kind of been
Anthony
in and out.
Hopkins will show up.
Yeah, like some of the people that have kind of bounced around and then never really called back to him. I'm hoping they'll
Hopkins
kind of bring it
was
all
in
together
one
because they brought Henry Czerny back from the original one for this new Dead Reckoning. He's in the new one from the original movie. So I'm hoping they'll kind of start making everything full circle.
Dude, I gotta see. Well, I gotta see the 7th one, obviously.
Great.
But I'm behind on I'm a little behind on certain things. But yeah, I saw these movies out of order. I saw 3 through 6. I went back. I 3 through 5, whatever it was. Then I went back, saw 1 and 2, and I didn't think much of them at the time. Then I did a rewatch of this franchise not too long ago, and I really enjoyed all 6 movies for different sets of reasons. And it's just so much fun to go back and revisit it. I mean, honestly, I can rewatch 2 and 3. And maybe even 6 any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Those 3 for me are definitely the ones that stand out more so than 4 and 5. I mean, 4 has great elements. 5 has good elements too, especially, Rebecca Ferguson. Hello. But I'm just saying, sorry, but I'm just saying 2, 3, and 6. Yeah, 6 is good. Yeah. Sorry, that's a Batman 89 line. But which Austin and I may be talking about later this year. So, as the movie turns the big 3-5.
Oh, yeah.
And Austin and I, maybe even Carissa could jump in on this too. All 3 of us are just going to sit here and quote the movie. So it's going to be a lot of fun later in the year. It's going to be a lot of fun. But for me, Mission Impossible is a great franchise. If you've never seen it, if you don't know what it is, go and watch it. You can find it on physical media. It's available on Blu-ray. It's available on DVD. It's also available on streaming services. Paramount Plus, I think, is one of the streaming services that carries it. So go ahead and visit it if you haven't. Watch it. Definitely, I know Carissa's got some homework to do, but I'm just curious. Carissa, are you familiar at all with Mission Impossible? And if so, what do you think of it?
I watched the original show and I watched the movies. I don't think I watched the original show when it was out. I don't know when it was, but I think that's a little before my time.
It was a little before a lot of
60s. Yeah.
Yeah. It was way before our time.
Yeah, but they used to have the reruns or replays or whatever.
On like TV Land or something. Yeah.
I watched all of them up until there was a part 2, and I don't think I ever saw part 2. It was like the 4th. I saw all the ones with Jeremy Renner, and then I think I missed the one after he came back. So I don't know how long ago that was. But I watched it for Simon Pegg. But I do like obviously Tom Cruise, because I watched him in Legend. So, but yeah. I definitely saw Ghost Protocol. I know that much. I don't think I saw Fallout. Dude, Fallout is great.
Yeah.
And Henry Cavill, aka Superman's in it. So, and he's got a huge mustache going on there. So,
Is that the one where they had to hide his stash, or did he?
Well, no, they had
no,
to do
that was Justice League.
Yeah.
It was the Justice League massacre that happened with Joss Whedon. But anyway,
that cost them millions of dollars.
It cost them millions of dollars to do that. But no, Henry Cavill has great action sequences in Mission Impossible Fallout, specifically the bathroom scene. It's pretty good when he jacks up his arms like I'm ready to kick your ass, man. I'm ready to go. But look up the trailer for Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, Carissa. You're going to love that trailer. It's so. By the way, some of these trailers for these movies are so good. I think the trailers for Mission Impossible, all 6 of them, are fantastic trailers. All of them. So feel free to go back and watch them. I'm sure someone cobbled together all 7 trailers and you can just watch them in one video instead of having to go to separate clips, which a lot of people tend to do on the interwebs. Thank you, creators. But Austin, I'm sure you're familiar with TC Legend. He's only been around for 60 years. But I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on this franchise as a whole?
No, this franchise has a good argument, especially once they conclude the series with this next one. It's going to definitely be in the conversation of the best action franchise ever made, movie-wise. Mainly because I would argue it doesn't have a bad entry in the entire series, as opposed to other ones that have, roller coaster up and downs, entries. Yeah, Bond, Predator, Alien, whatever you want to say, Terminator. Yeah, they all have their ups and downs. John Wick is the closest, probably next one that has 4 amazing entries.
Yeah, that's a great.
But as far as longevity, with this franchise going as long as it has and continue to up itself, if they're able to close it out with this next one and make another awesome movie, I think it's certainly in the contention to be the greatest action franchise that's ever been conceived. And yeah, I still think the first one is a Brian De Palma movie. It's still a really good espionage thriller. If you haven't gone back and watched it, really good heist stuff, really good sequences there. The second one I've turned a corner on because I used to not be a big fan of it. My most recent rewatch, my conclusion was that it's not a great Mission Impossible movie, but it's a good John Woo action movie.
Yeah.
So it's
he
just
knows how to do action movie with slow-mo and doves.
They were still figuring out the formula of like what they really wanted to do. Mission Impossible 3, I've always argued, is almost like sort of what Fast 5 did to the Fast franchise, as far as setting it on like a new path, like kind of rebooting and putting the pieces together of what they would continue from Ghost Protocol on. Ghost Protocol is my personal favorite. I just think that movie's a banger from start to finish. With just every single sequence is amazing. But yeah, I even when I rewatch Rogue Nation, I'm like, is this the best one? You watch Fallout, is this the best one? I've seen Die Reckoning 3 times. I'm like, is this the best one? I don't know. I can make an argument for all of them to be like, is this the best one? I don't know. It's whatever one I watched last.
Is Carissa going to watch 3 before she watches 2? What is she going to do?
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, they're great. They have like some pretty solid continuity again from 3 on, as long as you kind of go from that with the wife and whatnot and the team, and it's really, really good. Yeah, great camaraderie all around. And yeah, these last couple ones with the team of Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise has really been stellar. And yeah, what he's been willing to do and to put his body on the line for these movies is really something special.
Broke his foot on Fallout.
Yeah, and they just kept it in the movie.
They kept filming too when he broke his foot.
And he kept going, and he had to get up and keep running, which was insane. But yeah, all the stuff he's done for these movies is incredible. Yeah, the newest one is great. I really, really like it. And Simon Pegg has teased that the new one will make this past Dead Reckoning look like Child's Play. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So he's already teasing that they're having even more insane stuff.
They're going to one-up themselves
because they've already filmed pretty much like 95% of it. They just had to do some pickups after the strikes.
Really?
But yeah, it's pretty much done. Yeah, it just won't come out till next year because it was originally going to come out this year. And then
the strikes delayed everything.
But yeah, this franchise is great. I can pick up and watch any one of these at any given time. And it may not be like the geekiest franchise as far as when you can geek out on like mythology and whatnot that you could with Predator or Terminator or whatever. But yeah, it's again, if you just want pure solid great acting, direction, popcorn entertainment with
crazy
some really meaty stories and villains
and globetrotting, by the way.
Yeah. Oh no, beautiful cinematography. This is an amazing series, and I've been a big fan of it. Yeah, for a long time.
Good stuff. So, Carissa, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go back and watch all 7 movies that star TC legend Tom Cruise this week. Are you going to do it?
If you go back and watch all of Supernatural 15 seasons, I will go back and watch those movies.
Oh, come on. Come on. You can sit down and watch 6 or 7 movies. You know
I've seen them all except the last one.
Oh, have you seen them like is your mind like fresh as a daisy on these films, or you feel like you need to go back and rewatch some of them?
I should probably go back and watch some of them.
Yeah, like I said,
Ghost Protocol is my favorite too, though.
That's good. Yeah. Dude, that Burj Khalifa thing is just.
But it's one of those franchises where somebody said that Third was their favorite. I couldn't argue. If somebody said that Rogue Nation was their favorite, I couldn't argue. If somebody said Fallout's their favorite, I can't argue. Like I couldn't argue against anybody saying this whatever entry is their favorite. Even my buddy Jordan Anderson, the first one is his favorite. I can't argue with that. It's still a great damn movie. So yeah, I can't argue with anybody as far as which one they pick. It's like it's like John Wick. It's like which one's the favorite? I don't know. The one I watched most recently. I don't know.
2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
No, I got you. But yeah, definitely check out Mission Impossible if you have a chance. It's a lot of fun. Well, the Meaning of Fandom is back, and we look forward to having more episodes of this series as we move forward in this new year of 2024. I want to thank our panelists for being here, and thank you, the person who may be watching or listening to this, for for being here. Austin, where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media, my friend?
Yeah, you can mainly find me over on the Movie Hero Network. I just mentioned my partner, Jordan Anderson. Ryan Permison's been on there for some Seen and Heard trivia and some other ventures. But yeah, over on the Movie Hero Network, we would love to earn your subscription over there. I don't say just like and subscribe. I like to say we'd like a chance to earn your subscription. So come over and check out our content. Not just blindly click that thing. Come check us out. We got tournament fights, tier ranker fights, a podcast about movies, which I'll be going live on later tonight with my buddy Jacob Barber. We have the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. We have Podcast League now. We're doing lots of end of the year 2023 wrap-ups with tournaments and podcasts with all of our top 12 movies of the year. All kinds of great stuff over there. So please, we would love to earn your subscription over on the Movie Hero Network. Please and thank you.
RESPECT, find out what it means to me. Anyway, sorry, I got a few things stuck in my head. I'm sorry. But Carissa, the one who runs 1 million Kickstarters a year and is a best-selling writer, best-selling creator. She's got a collection full of fluffies that are going to put anyone to shame. If the person watching or listening to this wants to find out more about you and the storyline and the comic book series you got going on right now, where can they find you?
Well, I'm always on Kickstarter, either pre-launch or live. I launch Monday, sometime between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern. So you can find me on Kickstarter. Just the easiest way to do it is to search Worthy Chaos. The only thing that pops up, and like 9 of my campaigns will pop up, but you'll figure out which one's next. You can also find me on Facebook, Carissa Grant, or I have a Facebook group called Worthy Chaos, and you can join that. We have about 700 members. I have 5,000 followers on Twitter, so you can find me at Worthy_Chaos, and pretty much anywhere you search Worthy Chaos, I'm probably going to pop up. So just do that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Carissa Grant, for being here. Do greatly appreciate it. My name is Ryan of And I Quote Channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you dare. And kneel before Zod. Sorry, that's a line from another movie. At RyanRPM5. Check us out on all forms of social media at And I Quote Channel. We are this close to hitting 1,000. Once we do, go through a great big live stream celebration. It's going to include returning favorites and some giveaways that include 11x17 prints featuring your favorite characters from your favorite properties like Star Trek Strange New Worlds. We also got one from, what is it called, Star Wars with Darth Vader and all that stuff. If you're a fan of Doctor who just turned the big 6-0 recently, you can be eligible to win this giveaway, which is 11x17 print of all the Doctors on it. You can post that up in your room, put it up in your office, put it up, wherever you put up your collectibles. Just throwing that out there. But a lot of great things coming your way. Meaning of Fandom, movie watch along, a lot of great things coming your way. Also, we're going to be on tour, going back to Comic-Cons in February, starting with Mad Monster Party, which is February 16th through the 18th in Concord, North Carolina. I'm going to be up there. Maybe Austin will be joining us. That's going to be a lot of fun if we do, because we're going to be meeting the cast and stars of some of the biggest movies and TV properties in the world. So definitely check that out. Nerdy Cantina is back, talking all things Star Wars. We got merch. That's right. Great merch. It's located in the bio. It's located in the description below. We got t-shirts. We got hoodies. We got stickers. We got coffee mugs. Everything your geeky or nerdy heart desires, we have something for you. So definitely check it out. All the links are located on our social media and below, and help us reach 1,000 subscribers here in 2024 so we can throw that great big live celebration, including special giveaways that we want to give to you, our incredible viewers, listeners / subscribers, all that good stuff. And I Quote is back with new episodes with new stars, new guests, great content creators. We're so excited to have them here. So once again, Happy New Year to you and everyone out there, and we look forward to seeing you on our being a part of our next show, which includes this one, The Meaning of Fandom. So like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified our new videos go up or they go live. And remember, always follow your fandom.
All right, I'm a little tired, I'm a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.